Hi, Professor Lee. This is the final project presentation for my app called Headwing. So Headwing is the balanced news aggregation app. The icon is Hermes, known as the messenger god, and he had two wings on his helmet. I felt it was an appropriate representation of this app. So the motivation behind Headwing is it's very difficult to get the full picture these days just from reading the news, especially if you're just reading from one end of the political spectrum, because the news is very politically charged, very partisan these days. So I compare it to good investing. When you invest, you want to diversify. You don't want to just put all your money into one type of asset class, such as bonds or stocks. You want to kind of diversify, mix it up. Likewise, it's good to, quote, diversify when you read the news. It's good to have a balanced source of your news, not just from, for example, conservative sources, but you should balance it with liberal and vice versa. So that's the motivation behind Headwing. There isn't an app that I know of that fulfills this need. So Headwing queries from 30 different news sources. These are, for the most part, pretty credible. Of course, when you go to the more extreme sides of the spectrum, it does become less credible, but in general, these are pretty solid, and they range from very liberal, the first four there, to liberal, the next seven, to moderate, the next seven or eight, and then conservative, that's the next seven, and the last four are very conservative. So Headwing will draw from these 30 news sources. And we talked about blends before, so there's 5 blends you can choose from. And out of those 5, they also can be very liberal, or I call it Headwing is the middle one, or it can be conservative or very conservative. And you'll have a different mixture of the different types of news sources. So for example, if you take a look at the Headwing blend, 20% of those articles are going to come from very liberal sources, 20% are going to come from liberal sources, 20% are going to come from moderate sources, 20% come from conservative, and the last 20% very conservative. You can contrast that with the very conservative blend, for example. None of those articles you read will ever be from very liberal sources. Only 10% will be from liberal, 20% will be from moderate, 30% from conservative, and then 40% from very conservative sources. So you have a range of articles you can read. Of course, it's recommended to use the Headwing blend. So that's the presentation, and I'll go into the demo. So we open up Headwing here. So here you see the 5 blends, and I'm going to choose Headwing. Now, it does take a little while to retrieve articles. It's using an external third-party API to query each source, and each source takes about 1 second. And as you can see, it's populating now. While it's still populating, it's going to populate 10 articles. While that's happening, you can read the ones that have loaded. You can see how pretty much I anonymized the news source, so you don't know what source it comes from, and there are also not author's name or pictures, so you're not affected by that bias. All you have is the text, so you can read through it. Only at the bottom you will see the original link for the article. So this actually came from National Review. Let's also go back here. Let's see. So now all the articles have loaded. All 10 here. You can see it's the Headwing blend. Also, once you've clicked on an article, it will then reveal what part of the spectrum it was on. So this was conservative. So if I go back to the article itself, if the user wants, they can go to the original article with the images and ads and all that good stuff if they so choose. But of course, it's usually pretty annoying navigating through all the ads. So you can safely return back to Headwing. And once the articles have loaded, it's pretty fast. Everything's cached, so it doesn't need to go refetch refetch articles until an hour later. If the articles are old, or if you've viewed all of them, which would have to take hundreds of views of all the articles, that's when it would refetch. But right now it's just resting and everything's fast. So there's 10 articles. If you scroll down, do this action, 10 more will generate. So this is 10 new articles. I can do that again. 10 more articles showed up. And notice how it's instant because this is all already cached. It's all already in the app. So it's just fetching from the dictionary that contains these articles to get them. And yeah, you can see how once you clicked on an article, you can see the nature of the source, whether it was, so in this case, these two are liberal sources. This one's a very liberal source. Right, this one's a moderate. It's in purple. So that's pretty much it. And here you can regenerate a new 10 articles based on a new blend. You can also, every time you do it, it'll regenerate 10 new articles for that blend. So that's pretty much it. All right, Professor Lee. So that's my presentation, my demo for the Headwing app. Thank you so much for a wonderful semester. I hope this was enjoyable for you as well to be introduced to this app. Thank you so much.